Today we received an amazing email from Elisa, an Italian mother who wanted to share with us a home birth experience. My experience of giving birth at home was triggered by a chat with another mother, who I discovered could be a midwife by profession, when I was already pregnant, and she asked me where I was going to give birth and told me about this practice of two midwives with whom she was soon to collaborate, who assist women during pregnancy, labour and during birth at home. Personally, I do not approve of the epidural in the sense that, for me, childbirth should have been closer to nature, closer to what nature has planned for us women. And I knew from experience that instead, there is a tendency of hospitalize things a lot. So, both my partner and I were in agreement and curious. They explained to us what home birth means. They have a kinder, less invasive approach. They said that midwives have their eyes on their fingers because they are able to understand so many things through touch, thanks to their experience. Both my partner and I agreed that we liked them so much. And I really like the idea of being able to give birth in a more familiar environment. And with this method, that was possible. So I decided. Also, it was making a big economic effort. But I have to say, it cost a lot. Because the national system doesn't recognize this as a possibility. It's a total private service. But I decided to take the full package. This is how this amazing experience started. They came to my house for an acquaintance interview where we talk about my life, how I was born, what my birth was like, what my menarche was like, my period. There's really an intention to get to know each other in depth that makes it all very personal and intimate. It's because, if you think about it, during labour, you stay naked for hours in front of them. But thanks to this, they became almost sisters. I was saying that they came home, they touched baby, they evaluated the blood test, because when the moment arrived, they have to do all the blood tests anyway, in case they need more tests. And the pregnancy goes on like that. In the meantime, I get information from books and I discover the word of Lotus birth, where the baby is not detached from the umbilical cord until it stops pulsing, which is very important because at the moment the baby receives all the blood that was in the placenta, while in the hospital they cut it almost immediately. They never wait. And the moment of giving birth arrived. Labour started and I called them in the morning. They left him at home, quietly with my partner. But when the contractions started to get closer and closer, they were practically there already. And they followed me through the whole process. They were there with me all the time, almost invisible, taking turns. They gave me massages, they wiped my sweat. They were there for me constantly, to comfort me, to support me, to make me suffer as little as possible, to give me psychological support and practical as well. I was free to do whatever I want, but I also had someone always with me. I even remember that at the time of the most acute pain, they gave me a clay compresses to soften and smoothen the vagina. And this allowed me not to tear myself, but simply to widen. They were there, always, even if the labour lasted 12 hours. At the end of labour, there was a moment, a special moment, because they knew that I was dilated enough and the baby was ready. They told me to push, but the baby didn't come out. So they immediately realized that my son was stuck with his shoulder. And this certainly saved his life, but also mine too, on a psychological level, because they realized that they couldn't do anything but a maneuver, which they had studied well and which they had already done it anyway in the past. And basically, it's tipping the mother over with her legs up and literally take and pull the baby out. They were very good, competent, supportive. There was no moment of panic. I didn't feel the fear. Of course, it wasn't easy either. From the moment on, however, since it was no longer a normal birth, but became a different kind of birth, they were obliged to alert the emergency services. They have to remove themselves from responsibilities. When the ambulance arrived, they stayed with me. They stayed with me the whole time. They were fantastic. And they came to the hospital with me. They helped me with breastfeeding, and they also helped me psychologically after the birth, because it is considered a traumatic birth for both mother and son. And so they gave me this kind of support and helped me to remember all the moments of birth that I had, even positive memories. I can only say that it was a wonderful and very human experience and very intimate. I can say that with hindsight, I made the right choice and I would do this again. It's not very well known. Few people knew about this alternative. I have to admit, it's not for every budget, but we really need much more information about this possibility to give women the opportunity to choose. And thanks to you, Elisa, this is very possible. Thanks to you, we discovered a new way to give birth more intimate. Thank you very much, Elisa. And please, mums and dads, if you want to share any of your experiences, please send us to us. Thank you.